Iron Flag is the fourth studio album by American East Coast hip-hop collective Wu-Tang Clan, released on December 18, 2001 on Loud Records. It was certified gold in sales by the RIAA. Iron Flag served as the group's second lowest-selling album, as their record label, Loud, was on the verge of shutting down at the time. The album debuted at number 32 on the Billboard 200 with 153,000 copies sold in its first week of release. It has sold 470,000 copies in the United States as of April 2014. Overview: A gap of 4 years separated both the first and second albums, and 3 years between the second and third albums, with those gaps being filled by a myriad of solo projects. It was consequently surprising to many when the Clan reformed for a new LP only a year after their well-received 2000 album The W, with only RIAA's Digital Bullet and Ghostface Killah's Bulletproof Wallets released in between. The album's promotion was also quite low-key, particularly in comparison to the fanfare, hype and expensive videos that had preceded the release of the group's 2 previous albums. Unusual for hip-hop albums of the time, Iron Flag only consists of 12 tracks with no interludes or skits between songs. This is similar to the W, which only consisted of 13 tracks. Album cover. The album cover is inspired by the Iwo Jima flag-raising photo from 1945, one of the most famous photos of all time. Absences: Ol' Dirty Bastard's contributions to the Wu-Tang's group albums continued to decrease with each successive album. After being one of the main stars of Enter the Wu-Tang, 36 Chambers, he was by far the least prolific Clan member on the group's follow-up album Wu-Tang Forever. He then made only one appearance on the W due to being engulfed in legal troubles. Legal troubles which in the year separating the W and Iron Flag had only gotten worse. Consequently, ODB does not appear on Iron Flag at all, making the W the final Wu-Tang album to feature him. He does, however, appear on 8 Diagrams posthumously. Another absentee is Cappadonna. After being merely a very close affiliate of the group on Wu-Tang Forever, he appeared to have become absorbed into the group itself as a full member on the W. In the year following the release of the W, Cappadonna had become dissatisfied with being in the group and had also been in dispute with the group over the revelation that his manager Michael Caruso was a police informant. Whatever the case, he only appears once on the album in a bridge for the hidden song, The Glock. Although, it should be noted that he appears on the original cover of the album but was airbrushed out. The original cover appears on the back of the Wu-Tang manual by RIAA. This suggests that he might have been removed from the album in post-production. Revisiting old sounds, rather than stick to one unified sound for most of the album's tracks, as with previous Clan albums, much of Iron Flag returns to many different individual sounds and styles that the Wu-Tang had visited over the years. Chrome Wheels uses the synthesizer-heavy digital orchestra sound of RIAA's Bobby Digital and Stereo. Dashing also uses the Bobby Digital sound, with the digital trademarks of the off-kilter keyboard riff, a high-pitched portamento sine wave synthesizer, and prominent synthesized hi-hats. Radioactive is firmly in the gritty, foreboding style of the Wu-Tang's debut album Enter the Wu-Tang. It has a recurring dialogue sample from a martial arts movie, short and indistinct one-note samples buried in the mix, a quickly looping ascending bass line, and hard, pounding drums. The beat also incorporates the sound of shuriken throwing blades, which are launched with a single B note, before the sound effect pans from right to left then back again before dissipating. The repeated horn blare at the start of every bar is also reminiscent of Public Enemy, particularly Night of the Living bass heads. Iron Flag has all the hallmarks of the Wu-Tang Forever sound, string samples coupled with subtle keyboards and a sped-up vocal sample. Uzi recalls the W's murky blaxploitation-influenced atmosphere with its dramatic horn riffs and gritty drums. Soul Power is also reminiscent, albeit to a lesser extent, of the W. Wu Element's contributions. Many of the remaining tracks sound little like much the Clan had done before, and little like each other. This may be a result of the collaborators involved. All of the above tracks are produced by the RIAA, whereas of the remaining 6, only 2 are RIAA produced. two are produced by in-house Wu Elements producers True Master and Mathematics. True Master's "Y'all Been Warned" is a simple one-bar composition with a funky guitar riff over a steady rhythm and a deeply buried piano sample. The advance copy of Iron Flag featured a slightly different version of this song which featured a synthesizer line over the top of the guitar riff. It is not known why this was changed for the final release. Mathematics Rules features a pattern of one bar repeated 3 times then a one-bar turnaround. The repeated bar features 4 samples layered in a vaguely call and response structure. An initial horn sample is answered by a James Brown grunt, which is answered by a 2-chord piano sample, which is answered by another James Brown grunt. The horn sample is highest in the mix and effectively leads the other samples. The turnaround bar has 2 descending chords with a high-pitched picked guitar riff, bringing the 4-bar pattern to the start once again. With its intro of scratched samples of various Wu-Tang lyrics, this track can be viewed as reminiscent of hip-hop producer DJ Premier's distinctive style. Though these two producers are known for their distinctly traditional Wu-Tang sound, these two beats do not particularly resemble much of the Clan's previous output, at least not as a group. If anything, they resemble some of the sharp 1970s soul-influenced funk tracks from the Wu-Tang's 1999 to 2000 solo albums. Outside collaborators, there had been some discontent among fans and critics when the W included non-Wu-Tang affiliated hip-hop crossover superstars Busta Rhymes and Snoop Dogg. Nevertheless, Iron Flag also makes use of non-Wu artists well known in their own right. Flavor Flav of Public Enemy provides the chorus for Soul Power, and Back in the Game features both pop-rap hitmakers Trackmasters and soul legend Ronald Isley. Nick Fury Lofton also produces One of These Days, sampling Donny Hathaway's rendition of Ray Charles' I Believe to My Soul for its hook and using a fairly generic coupling of muffled horn stabs and soul guitar. Back in the Game opens with the same vocal sample as 36 Chambers, but it sounds little like anything the Clan had done before. It also sounds little like well-known Trackmasters hits of the time, such as A Kelly's Fiesta. A delicate piano melody is layered over a heavy organ vamp and a stumbling, complex rhythm. A number of critics, such as the NME's Ted Kessler and the Onion AV Club's Nathan Rubin, saw Flavor Flav's appearance as a way to temporarily fill the clownish role of the absent old dirty bastard. Flav sings the call and response chorus of Soul Power with You God, and has a long conversation with Method Man in the song's outro about growing up in Long Island, where Flav hails from. Track listing. Album singles. Album chart positions. Singles chart positions. References. External links, Iron Flag at Metacritic.